Hello, welcome, Puentistas. My name is Mrs. Roberson. I am the middle school and junior high school counselor trainer from the Puente statewide office. And it is my honor today to be here with Ms. Chairez. She is the wonderful Puente counselor at Overfelt High School. And today we're going to have a presentation for you on virtual campus tours. Since we can't really meet and go on tours like we normally do, this year is going to be different. We're going to be doing virtual tours, so we want to walk you through that process for this year. I just wanted to quickly kind of go over what the day is gonna look like. What this presentation is gonna cover. We're gonna hear from some Puente alumni, so some Puentistas who are currently in college right now. We're also gonna be highlighting just a short video on UC Merced. We're going to be talking about a ton of different virtual tours and resources because we know that every student, right, we want you to find the best fit for your school, for yourself, school for yourself. So we want to make sure that you have all the resources that available to you so that you can explore those different options. I will be kind of a little bit touching on some schools that we feel that, Puentistas are finding a lot of success at. And then we're going to have a short activity that you will be doing with your counselors at your site.
Hi everyone, like Ms. Roberson said, my name is Gabriela Chairez. I'm the counselor at Overfelt. I'm really happy to be here today. I was actually a Puente student here at Overfelt, so that makes me extra excited to be here. Just so you know, I am a graduate from the University of California, Santa Barbara. I studied sociology and Chicano studies, and I received my master's in counselor education from San Jose State. So go Gauchos and Spartans. Before I get started, I want you guys to think about these really awesome quotes from some really, really powerful people. So, education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today, by Malcolm X. And education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world, by Nelson Mandela. So when we're thinking about education, we're thinking, especially as Puentistas, we're thinking about going from middle school to high school to college, right? And we want to acknowledge, right? A lot of you are having a mixed feelings right now. You can be scared, you can be excited, you can be confused, you can be disillusioned, uncertain, and especially right now, that's probably all of those feelings are heightened because of the pandemic that we're in. We just want you to let you know that this is something that's normal for seniors in general in the college application process. We're here for you, and please reach out if you need anything. But right now, we want to talk to you guys about the importance of choosing the colleges you're applying to. So one of the reasons why this is so near and dear to my heart is because when I was a student here at Overfelt, as a Puentista, we went on our college tour. I visited UC Santa Barbara with Puente, and I fell in love with the campus, and I was really, really lucky to be admitted and to have my 4 years there. So we know that when students visit campuses, they have amazing experiences and they see themselves there. Unfortunately, that's not something that we can do right now, right? We have to work with what we have, and what we have are virtual college tour resources. So we want to share that with you today. We also want to share what you want to think about when you're thinking of the colleges you're applying to. So there are 3 different categories that we like to share with students. That's reach schools, target schools, and safety schools. So when you think of reach schools, you're thinking about your dream schools, schools where you've thought about going forever, schools like Ivy Leagues that are really hard for everyone in general to get into, right? We say apply. Don't be discouraged by the selectivity there. We also want you to consider target schools. So schools where you fit right in, where you know you meet the requirements and you won't have such a hard time getting in. And then we also want you to think about safety schools. So schools where you exceed the qualifications and you know it's a safe bet. We want you to know that your reach, target, and safety schools are specific to you. So every student is going to have a different list depending on their GPA, their likes, their dislikes, all of that. So we want you to be aware of that when you're thinking of your schools. I always like to recommend students apply to a few reach, apply to a few target, and apply to a few safety. That way you cover all of your bases.
Yes, I totally agree. Definitely want to cover all of our bases. So first we're going to hear from JoJo. I'm going to let her introduce herself really quick. Go ahead, JoJo, if you want to mute yourself. Let me see. Just go ahead and introduce yourself really quick.
Hello, everyone. My name is JoJo. I'm currently a senior at the University of San Francisco, where I'm studying sociology.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us virtually today, JoJo. It's so great to have you with us. So I just have a question for you. I just kind of wanted to know, how was your college tour experience while you were in high school?
I think ultimately, like, those were some of the most fun times we had. Being a part of Puente, we ultimately had access to those college tours. So we were visiting, of course, places like San Jose State, which were relatively close to us, but we also had an experience where we took something called like a SoCal trip. So we went to Southern California and we visited a bunch of different schools out there. And going on the college tours ultimately allowed me to just envision myself being a college student, which gave me the confidence to ultimately apply. I think as a first generation college student, there's so much to learn and there's so many so much information that's being thrown at you. But sometimes like being able to put yourself on that campus, being able to envision yourself as a student and succeeding is something that you get to do for yourself, and a feeling that I can't really describe, but you just feel it inside. And ultimately that's how I even chose to attend the University of San Francisco, which, like Miss Chairez said, it was a college tour that I went on with Puente, which was really cool.
Awesome, thank you. So now I'm gonna have Valeria come in to do our next question. So Ms. Valeria, if you wanna unmute yourself and go ahead
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Valeria Plancarte. I am currently a second year at the University of California, Berkeley. My intended major is social welfare and with a minor in Chicano-Chicana studies. So yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for being here, Valeria, with us. So my question for you is, why do you think that it's important for students to participate in the virtual college tours now?
Yeah, so as previously mentioned, unfortunately, with the situation that we're in, on-campus tours aren't possible. But with the uncertainty that comes with like the times that we're living in right now, I think it's important to make the most of the situation that we're in. Even though like the world may feel like it's at a halt, our goals and our future, that's still important, and it's still important to see how we can still get some like feeling of normalcy in like the times that we're living in. And I think campus tours are super important. In my experience as a senior at Overfelt, I was definitely most attracted to applying to the schools that I had already toured. I also went on the SoCal trip and we visited a lot of schools nearby as well. And I found myself just feeling like most familiar with the ones I had visited, and that made me most comfortable with potentially going there. And I think it's also, college tours are an excellent way to like explore even the schools that, the ones that you're interested, but also the ones that you may not be fully convinced about. And you're able to like talk to current students, ask them questions that only they can answer for you because they have that experience of being there. So I think visiting right the schools virtually will be definitely helpful in when it comes to make that decision for everyone.
Yeah, I agree. Although, it is nice to be on the campus, right, live to see it, but this is kind of like the next best thing, right? You still want to experience it somehow, right, before you make your decision. So,
yeah, right. It's still a wonderful opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. Now we're going to hear from Devin. Devin, go ahead and unmute yourself and introduce yourself, please.
Okay, my name's Devin. I also attend UC Berkeley, and So far, I'm an intended social welfare major, and I hope to minor in Spanish too, so that hopefully one day I can return to the East Side and do some work with that degree.
Awesome. You already know that's what Puente is about, right? Not only moving forward, but make sure you're reaching back, right? Make sure that you're, kind of going back to your community and supporting your community. So I'd love to hear that. So your question would be, what advice, like if you had a time machine, you can go back in time, what advice would you give your middle school self?
Yeah, I would say one thing that if I could turn back time for myself, I would just tell myself not to take everything so seriously, because I think when we're younger, we're kind of we don't want to push our limits, or we don't want to really step out of our comfort zone out of fear. And I feel like everything that I've experienced in my life, the best things come out of the ones where I took that chance and I stepped out of my comfort zone. And I really think that, especially being that young, it's a good point to start and practice at, because in college it can be scary, but there's also really great opportunities. Like, for example, me and Valeria got to go to London for our first semester. That was like in a whole nother continent, and we knew like really nothing about living there. So the fact that we took that opportunity, I think it's just really important to not take life so seriously and just enjoy the things that come up for you. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Devin. So now I'm going to open it up to back to JoJo. And I just have, it's like a two-part question for you, JoJo, but the first part is, like, why are you happy at your school? Like, what things, or what do you feel for you makes it the best fit for you, your school?
I definitely feel like the best part about going to the University of San Francisco is the people. I think for me, being involved in like clubs and different organizations at school and even just around the community allowed me to build a community that made me feel safe and made me feel protected and confident enough to grow in. And so, like Puente, I have them for my 4 years of college. And so being able to always run back to them if something comes up is always reassuring. I think even on the days where you're just like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, it all feels like a lot, they're always there to cheer you on and stuff like that. So definitely the people.
Awesome. Great. Thank you. And then what tips would you give middle school or high school students on how to be successful during this learning environment, virtual learning environment? I'm sorry.
Definitely. Virtual is very tough. I think it's something that most of us weren't expecting, and it was some of us had to just jump into it and learn how to adapt. And so I think it's important to just remember why you started and remember that confidence that you should have in yourself to carry through. And so obviously sometimes school gets challenging, and when you put virtual, that's even more challenging. So I think just making sure that you remind yourself of how powerful you are, not only as a student, but as an individual, and think about those future goals as to why you even started.
Yes, thank you. I know that what we call intrinsic motivation, right? Thank you. I'm going to go to Valeria now, if you want to mute yourself. So why are you happy at your school? So what is it for you that makes it like the right fit?
Honestly, I've just been able to have some like really great experiences that I don't think I would have had the opportunity to have otherwise. This sounds kind of cheesy, but I truly never thought I would have gone to Berkeley. As a high school student, and as Devin previously mentioned, I was able to be a part of their program where I studied in London for my first semester, and that was like a really big eye-opening experience that was super scary, but I think it encompasses like my experience at Berkeley so far and what I really love about it, which is that it's helped me like step out of my comfort zone and just like develop my character, become more independent and more self-aware, which is I think something that's very important when you're in college. It's that opportunity that you get like stepping out of what you know as your community, like in high school, right? And so it's an opportunity to kind of explore, and Berkeley has allowed me to do that. The community is awesome. The students are very involved with like their interests, and it's just a very big it's a big campus, which is something that scared me when I first thought about going there. But as previously mentioned, the community there, like you're able to find your place where it makes the campus feel smaller and more be at home. And so I'm just excited to like be there and find more opportunities and experiences that will allow me to continue to learn and grow.
Great, that sounds amazing. I know.
It was a lot, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. And then what advice would you give your fellow middle school and high school Puentistas on how to be successful in this virtual learning community or education setting?
Yeah, I think being at home, it may feel like we're alone, and it's just on us to like get ourselves to participate in school. But I think it's important to lean on like the support that we have, because although it may feel like we're alone, we're not. And we have you know, just look at the reach the resources that you have, your peers, counselors, right? And just to be able to find like a community and in order to be successful. And I think it's also okay to ask for help when you feel like you need it. And then one like small tip is like for people that are forgetful like me, I set alarms for my classes to like 10 minutes before they start, just to prepare. So I think that's like a little smaller tip that may be helpful if you have found yourself to like be late for class, logging on for classes and stuff. So yeah.
Thank you. I use that all the time. Even now as an adult, I use those little 10-minute reminders all the time. So that's a good tip. Thank you. Devin, can you just tell us, let's start with what makes you happy at your school and why do you feel like it was the best fit for you?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm going to keep it real. College can get really hard at times, and especially for a first-gen student, right? And I'm guessing that's how most of us come from a family who immigrated here, and so we have to figure out all these things by ourselves. And so I think for me, I just, especially at a school like Berkeley, there can be like a competitive climate. And the thing that's really helped me is finding that community, right? Whether it be with my friends or, you know, it's just something that I feel like it's really vital when you're in college, because that sense of community keeps you going when you feel like you don't want to keep going anymore sometimes. And school can get tough, but for me, that's helped me a lot. And kind of like Valeria mentioned too, reaching out for help. I think a lot of us, at least I know for me, that's really hard. And sometimes I don't know why, it's just hard to reach out for help, but I'm getting better at that. And I know that can be really helpful. So, you know, if I can reach out to my professors or, you know, just for little things, really, that's been helpful too. But I think Berkeley has just made me feel like, even though it's tough, I can do it. It's a challenge. And, you know, I don't want to spend time doubting myself. So going to a school like that and knowing that I'm there for a reason, as like all of you will be at the school, you are there for a reason. It's not a mistake. And yeah, I just really hope that when you're looking for a college, you find somewhere where you can see yourself finding that sense of community.
Thank you. And then just the last kind of piece, you know, what tips do you have for your fellow middle school and high school Puentistas on how to be successful in this virtual learning environment?
Yeah, I think one thing I would say is not to be tough on yourself. So, you know, kind of bring in more kindness for yourself. And I know that sounds super cheesy, but I find myself, and I've talked to my friends also, we're really hard on ourselves, especially during this virtual climate. And it's like, you know, this is really tough. No one has really dealt with this before. So if you find yourself being, you know, just like mad at yourself for maybe not even wanting to do an assignment or just feeling tired, or, you know, school is hard, and add on to being at home all the time, I think it's really important to remember that you're not the only one going through this, and that it's challenging, right? It's not supposed to be easy. So one thing that's helped me for sure is my morning routines, whether that be, I've recently been trying to work out in the mornings, because when I do that, I know it helps me mentally go through my day, and I get some time to be outside of my house. So I think a really big tip would just be, you know, find that morning routine that the rest of your day will go smoothly, and you'll feel more comfortable throughout the day. But yeah, I think that's one important thing that I've learned for myself.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies. A big, big thank you to all of you. These girls are actually, some of them were my students, so I'm really proud of you guys. And I'm really grateful that you're here sharing your experience with students. I also studied abroad when I was in Santa Barbara. So yes, please, once the pandemic is over and you're able to go to school in person, study abroad as much as you can. So what we're gonna do right now is we're actually gonna show you a quick example of a virtual tour. And this is actually like a promotion video for UC Merced. So it's a pretty powerful video that I really enjoy sharing with my students. So we're gonna share that with you right now. Oh.
You wanna know what makes UC Merced really stand out? At UC Merced, we're a tight-knit community. A community for people from all walks of life.
With over 200 organizations on this campus, you're bound to find one that you like. Nice over Mega Delta Phi, 1987.
At UC Merced, opportunities to study, research, and step out of your comfort zone are growing every day. Our faculty members are so innovative and energetic. No matter what you study, our environment will keep you motivated. You can find inspiration here.
Or out here. UC Merced has been partnered with Yosemite since before our campus opened. And each year, our collaboration with the park grows even stronger.
Merced may be a small community, but there's still plenty to do.
So yes, we may be the newest UC, but here at UC Merced, we are pioneers. We are trailblazers.
Building the future. Our future.
And it all starts here at UC Merced.
So we hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's a really short video, but we want to just show you how, you know, even though these tours are virtual, you can get a sense of what the school is like, and you can get to see what kind of culture they have. So please try to do as many of these virtual college tours as you can, so that you can have a college list that you feel good about. So I also want to share these resources for you. So the first set of resources is links to 3 different websites. So the California State University link, it actually takes you to a page that has even more links. It has 23 links, and each link is going to take you to the virtual site page for each California State University school. So it's 23 campuses, 23 links for their virtual tours website, or web page, sorry. The University of California link, it's the same thing. It's one page that gives you every link of the 9 University of California campuses to their specific virtual tours web page. The UVisit site actually gives you a variety of campus tour options for tours all over the country, including Ivy League schools. You'll also see some of these UC and CSU school links in there. So they might be on both sites. So you can always look at that one. The other resources that we have here are for College Board Big Future, Princeton Review, and then an article on safety, target, and reach schools. And these are more informative links about information for their admissions, their financial aid, their culture, all of that kind of information. And then the article goes into more detail about what we talked about earlier regarding the safety, target, and reach school. Before I finish, I also want to mention, some of your counselors might be they might be hosting virtual tours as well for you. So if your counselors reach out and tell you, hey, UC Santa Barbara is gonna be here and they're gonna meet with our students at this time, please go to those, because the counselors and the university representatives are taking their time to show you guys what they have. So those are great opportunities where you're in those tours live and you can ask live questions. So we highly recommend that you consider that as well.
And additional to these resources, we just have a couple more that we want to share with you because we feel that this is kind of what we found these 5 schools where our Puentistas are more successful at. So that's UC Berkeley, UC Davis, UC Merced, UC Riverside, and Sacramento State. So we thought it would be important to just kind of highlight these campuses for you. Like I said, because previous Puentistas have had more success at these schools. Now, does that mean you have to go to this? Of course not. We just put it here for your reference, and we wanted you to know that that there is a community there, kind of I think it was Valeria who was saying that kind of finding that small community when you're on campus, even though UC Berkeley is a huge campus, finding that small community, right? It makes it feel not so big, like you're not so alone. So these are kind of the campuses that foster that for our Puente students so they can be successful. So there's links, all of these are linked for you, and so that you can explore them on your own. But along with all of these wonderful resources we're showing you, we're also going to provide your counselor, and that your counselor will provide each one of you one or two or both of these PDFs so that you can start exploring some virtual campus tours on your own, right? They're going to have all the resources for you, so don't worry, you don't have to take a screenshot or anything of this. You're going to have everything, your counselor will have everything for you to do these activities. But it's just kind of a fun way to just kind of, look at different campuses. And of course, it's a bingo card. And there's also like a loteria, but we kind of made it like a play on words as Cal Loteria, which is basically obviously geared towards Cal, which is UC Berkeley. So those are 2 fun activities we have for you that we're going to provide for your counselors. And then we just have one last thing we want to tell you before we let you go. And it's just that, we care about you and we love you. We know that this is difficult times, but we are here for you and you can do this. Si se puede, right? And so, so I just want to leave you with a quote from, one of my favorite pop icons, Selena, which is, if you have a dream, don't let anyone take it away, and always believe that the impossible is always possible. So we believe in you. You can do this. Take care.